All right, y'all, we're back. I said we go live every day, and I've been slumping a little bit. So to make it up for you guys, I listen. I'm a man of the people. I brought back LQ, and the reason why is because I've actually never, in all of my comment section history, seen this many people say, do a show with that guy again. Bring him back. Like, we need to see more of him. LQ, welcome back, man. It's so glad. I'm so glad to have you. It's so great to have you. And unfortunately, because I brought you back so quickly, we're not quite in the football season yet, but we're getting there.
We're getting there, man. And thank you for the invite back, man. Like, I was
Anytime.
overwhelmed with those comments. Like, I didn't know until you said something like, yo, the comments, man, like they really showing love. And I'm like, word, they are. Like, I had to jump in there like, yo, shout out to y'all, the folks from Jersey, 609. I'm from Trenton, man. If you don't know now, you know. Welcome. The town we representing out here on the West Coast. But man, that love was overwhelming, bro. And like, thank you. Like, I'm glad we can make this magic and give the people what they want to hear.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, hey, it's been, an absolute pleasure to have you on. It's been a long time coming, of course. We were trying to do it and just never worked out. Well, now it's worked out twice in 2 weeks, 1 week? I don't know.
Yeah, that's lightning striking twice in the same spot. Wow. Let's go.
Hey, sometimes it really do be like that sometimes. But hey, glad you're here. We did have another joint practice you were not at, I assume. Were you? You were not.
No,
Okay.
I was trying to go. Now it's in Carson. Like, it's literally like 30 minutes away from where I'm at. But like, I had a podcast to do. Like, I had other obligations to do. Where
look at you working.
Once I got done, like, I'm looking at the clock. I was like, by the time I get there, it'll be probably like 30 minutes left for practice. So I kind of sat back and just watched the timeline, man, and everything that I seen today. I'm looking at like, all right, I'm feeling a little bit better now. We get closer to week 1 because, like, some of the guys that were popping off on the timeline, like our guy Jarquez Hunter breaking up the middle for a huge run, man. And I'm like, okay, let's go. It's heating up, man.
No, absolutely. It is heating up, and it is starting to feel, there's some stakes at hand right now. You're starting to feel maybe there's a tight roster battle, and I mean. I see, I got some position battles in mind. I mean, Blake Corum and, mentioned Jarquez Hunter. Is that an RB2 situation that's locked up for Blake, or is that wide open? And to me, I don't have any belief that it's wide. I don't have any belief that it's locked up. I think that is wide open. So let's start with that. Let's just start off. Blake Corum, Jarquez Hunter. Today, I'm watching the live stream, and, Kyren looks good, of course, and Blake has some runs, but Jarquez, I know it's not the first team defense, but Jarquez, second team offense versus second team defense, and he is dicing them up. I counted 3 explosive runs that would have gone to the house. That speed's evident, man. You told me this. You're like, no, he's got some serious explosiveness. So from seeing him in person, I mean, what can you tell me about Jarquez? And do you think he has a shot to take this RB2 spot?
I think he has a shot to be involved in that RB2 spot. Like, I'm not going to say it's locked up yet, but there's still so much time. Like, folks, we have 17 games this season. That can go either way with that RB2 spot. And I think that Blake Corum and Jarquez Hunter, they're different sides of the spectrum of what they can do, but these guys are weapons of the offense. Like, this is going to do nothing but complement Kyren. This is going to do nothing but help this offense get back to being a top 10 rushing offense. Like, it's been some time now, Jake. Like, we need to get this offense back on track, being that we're dealing with some question marks at the quarterback position, but at least we know we could rely on this running game. And like Jarquez, man, like everything you're reading, the tea leaves over there, Ramley, everything you're seeing, these clips, these posts about him, it's real. It's real. This dude has so much explosiveness where, like I said before, he's like a slingshot getting pulled all the way back. And once you let it go and release it, he's all the way up into the end zone. He's probably in the parking lot right now, man. The Saints are still chasing him at this point, seriously, because like that's what that is going to keep Sean McVay and Les Snead just smiling ear to ear, that they were able to land this guy in the draft. And you saw the behind the scenes, man. Like, they were really, really excited about getting him, Jake.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and you knew there'd be like an Auburn connection there with Les, and I mean, there definitely is. But no, this guy's the real deal. He is, and he's gonna have to work as far as pass protection and the little details. But he offers something on this roster that no one else offers. That to me is the beauty about him because he's got an explosive nature that's not seen on this roster. Kyren doesn't have that level of explosion. Blake doesn't have that level. We liked what we saw from Cody Schrader. He doesn't have that level of explosion. That is exclusive to Jarquez Hunter number 35. So he's got a fast track, in my opinion, because he's got a skill set that they knew when they drafted him, but he's got a skill set that no one else in this room can match. And that gives him, I would say the up there, the chance there to carve out that RB2 role. And I'm going to tell you right now, here's my prediction. Blake Corum is going to get RB2, right? He is. But Jarquez Hunter will have RB2 by the end of the year. That's what I think.
I'm not mad at that because that lets me know that we're moving in the right direction in the future as a 1-2 punch. We figured it out. The formula is working. And look, I'm not going to be mad if, my guy isn't the RB2 and now he's the RB3. It doesn't matter. Like, as long as this backfield is operating like how the rest of the league is operating in the 1-2 punch, like we're seeing the Falcons do it at a high level. We're still waiting for the Steelers to get it, right. But I want us to be right in the middle to be one of those next duo backfields that you have to fear because, again, you're going to fear the guys on our perimeter. We need to get back to where we're feared in between the tackles and guys that can bounce outside. I know you remember Trey Mason, another Auburn guy, man. He was electric, man, and his downfall was just so unfortunate. But we need to get back to that where guys are like, all right, Sundays we need to stop the Rams from running because they have freaking Todd Gurley. Yeah, that used to be a game plan centered around him while we still had Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods and Brandon Cooks going crazy. So, like, we need to get back to being that dangerous and that fearful because I know we could be that team once again.
I agree with you. And by the way, speaking of Brandon Cooks, he was out there today. So
yeah, nice little reunion with Cam Akers as well. I wonder how that went.
Yeah, he ran for a touchdown. So there you go.
Did he look at McVay like,
hey, what's up? Hey, get back to your sideline. This is practice.
I know what? It's all love with Akers, man. Like it was a bad marriage, but like he has so much relentless resilience in him of recovering. Because if you look at him last year, man, like he still was explosive, and it's like this dude been through so much with these Achilles, man, and both feet, man, and it's like, God, man, you just feel for the guy, but then he bounces back and he just keeps fighting and keeps fighting. So I'm gonna give Cam Akers his flowers, man. I applaud him for real, man.
He's been through a lot. I didn't love the way he handled the whole thing, but I think it was also hard for him to understand why Kyren Williams was actually cutting into his carries when they told him. I mean, they got the whole marketing campaign around the, remember the modern throwback uniforms and that kind of reel, and it's Eric Dickerson passing the proverbial torch to Cam Akers. So, like, in a way, Cam has to be like, how did I go from that to, like, now Kyren's taking over, a guy that you said you drafted just for pass protection, right? So, yeah. I get that. But, yeah, he's been through a lot. 2 Achilles tears, and he's still going. So, you got to give him his props there. We got a super chat here from Ruiz. My Hunter starting by week 12 looking good. So Ruiz has been saying, right? Not much of a Kyren fan, clearly. Ruiz has been saying that Hunter is going to be starting this year. I don't see that unless, obviously Kyren goes down, and God forbid we don't want him going down with an injury. That's the only way I see it. I mean, and again, it goes back to what we talked about last time. You look at Kyren, it's not just the body of work of him as a runner. It's what he does all over, as a blocker. I think he's a better receiving back. I think actually, and I very rarely criticize Matthew Stafford. I love him to death. He's had enough criticism throughout his whole career. Yeah. I think he's underrated. But the one criticism that I've had is I don't think he's the best thrower of the football when it comes to dumping it off to the running back. And
everything's a rocket, bro.
Yeah, it's a rocket. Yeah, he's so good with touch passing, but when it comes to that slip screen or whatever, Kyren's having to jump up in the air, make a crazy catch to get like 2 yards. So he's not quite throwing that out in front of him or giving him a chance. And so now I think, the perception of Kyren is, oh, well, now he can't catch passes. It's like, you look at those practices last year and the OTAs and all of that, and you can see a lot of like social media clips and what have you of Kyren running a full route tree almost, right? I mean, this guy has just been, in my opinion, he's been underutilized in a lot of phases as a receiver. The question is, are the Rams going to give him a chance Or is this one of those, yeah, hasn't worked out? Don't care that Stafford can't throw a screen pass. We're going to go with Blake Corum and Jarquez Hunter in the receiving game. And that's what we're going to find out this year, because
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what direction they're going to go in. But I am going to tell you that paying a guy $11 million a year, that's going to have some push pull, if you will. And Kyren's not losing this starting job. Not healthy
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, I agree. And like I do want to see him get used more as a receiver because Mike LaFleur, when he came from the Jets, we just saw Brees Hall put up like 70 catches that year. So I'm thinking like, oh, well, there's some type of idea and understanding of how to get the ball to the running back and the check down. But when you got Matthew Stafford, like he doesn't want to be that check down type. Like if it was Russell Wilson, maybe the Bo Nixes of the world, like these guys, they have a nice little touch pass to the running backs, but Stafford's always locked in trying to be downfield. Like he's a gunslinger. Like it's going to come at you at 100 miles per hour if you're 6 feet away from me, because that's how I'm going downfield. And I think, it's not something that I want to see Stafford do more, but like with this back issue, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little touch passes, just work on that so you can just get out of the pocket and just be safe and not take any more blows this season.
No, absolutely. And I think that's the thing. If you're looking at a Stafford who is dealing with any sort of back issue right now, are you willing to be like, yeah, pass protection, be damned? I mean, I really want to see what Jarquez can do. Or I really want to see what Blake Corum can do. It's like, you kind of got to keep him upright, right? I mean,
Yeah,
right? So that's the thing. That's where Kyren really, his value shines. But moving on here, I want to talk about wide receiver 5. And the reason being is because we actually saw Jordan Whittington's locked in. We know that. He's locked in the top 4. He can't move or up or down. I feel like those 4 guys are locked exactly where they are because he did not play in preseason. Which, was I surprised? No. I mean, I am a huge Jordan Whittington fan. I think he could take over the 3 job this year, truthfully. But looking at number 5, you have Xavier Smith, you have Britton Covey, you have Konate Mumfield. And it felt like a lot of people were, including myself, were kind of leaning towards, Mumfield's going to be wide receiver 5. But now we're seeing Xavier Smith roll at the ones in this joint practice at a few moments. We saw his performance on Saturday, against the Cowboys. And it just feels like then McVay comes out, calls him X-Man, gives him a nickname, and, has been saying he's looked really good, I don't think Xavier Smith is going to miss this roster at all, like I thought maybe was possible. But now, even to add more to that, I think Xavier Smith's going to take that 5th job. So what are your thoughts on that? Wide receiver 5, Xavier Smith or Konate Mumfield? Because I think Covey he's shown some things, but I just think he's too far behind Xavier Smith right now.
Yeah, and it comes down to, special teams, and that's where Xavier Smith is also in orbit. So I think he might be more so like ahead of Konate just based off of that, just having that kick return, punt return under his belt, and then showing up in preseason, that really helped. Konate didn't have his best game, but Konate is still one of the best route runners, when it comes to that 5 through 6 and 7, when it comes to those wide receivers. So I think he separates himself as usage is how we look at Jordan Whittington, like he had to work his way through special teams. He made tons of plays his rookie year in special teams, standing out. It's about we're all animals in the zoo, just be the most exotic. And I think that's what Konate Mumfield has, being that he's a crispy route runner with strong hands. That is upside. We want that in-house. This could be our next, guy that passes the torch from Adams to Konate, based on he's in a room where he can learn how to be even better as a route runner, how to learn the little details that he's missing right now. So I think it's such a huge need, to have this type of depth at wide receiver, because again, we got somebody that's up there in age, and we also have somebody that has an injury history. So I don't want us to fall apart, kind of like how we did in the beginning of the season, where we're looking, hey, Tutu, you haven't been a full-time wide receiver, but now we need you to be. And that's why he's back. He proven himself. You have DeMarcus Robinson, he showed up big for us last season. I was calling him Red Zone Robinson, but after that, it was kind of like guys didn't have enough reps to keep this offense afloat without Kupp and Puka. So I think having such a strong wide receiver depth is such a need here. So I do hope that they figure out a way how we can get Kanante, Xavier Smith, as that 5 and maybe 6.
Yeah, no, I think that you have to keep six. There's no reason
Yeah.
not to keep six receivers. You need the depth. Puka Nakua, he's been banged up every year he's been in the league. He just didn't miss time his rookie year. And then, of course, Devontae Adams getting up there in age. Tutu Atwell has had some issues as well, soft tissue injuries, Jordan Whittington issues. So there's a lot of injury concern on this roster that's kind of almost unspoken. And so having a guy like, Mumfield or having a guy like X Smith, I think it makes a lot of sense to carry both of them on the roster. The question
Yeah.
is, will all six of them be active on game day? If they keep six, well, we'll find out. But that's not really what we're focused on. It's more so who the hell is going to be on this 53, right? Because
Yeah, man.
it's a tough roster to make.
Our linebackers, bro. What are we doing?
I told you about Dolak, man. Like what the hell?
Dolak is a maniac, bro. Oh my god. Him
just-
and Pooh Paul are the new bad cop duo that I want to see out there in preseason, man. Like those two are going to be menaces to society on defense, man.
Oh yeah. I am so happy they picked up Dolak. Just don't ruin it by cutting him. That would really annoy me.
Yeah, man.
We got some supers from Zaylor Swift. Love the name, by the way. Xavier is a better Tutu. He's a bigger target, competitive hands. I'm not gonna do Tutu like that.
He ain't faster than Tutu.
No,
man.
he's not.
Like defenders
definitely not.
legit are afraid of Tutu speed. Like it is in that elite tier of speed. That I don't think X-Man got that in his arsenal. That's not on his utility belt.
No, and that's the thing. Like when Seattle went out and got Marquez Valdez-Scantling, they were looking for that speed. The problem is Tutu can catch, Marquez can't. That's the difference. So
That's the big difference there.
yeah, it's a huge difference, right?
But they drafted Torrey Horton, so he's a guy that I'm kind of like.
I think he's going to take over that third.
Yeah,
role.
man. That's why I'm like, I hope Seattle doesn't figure it out yet. Like,
they are
lost in identity, man.
You watched Torrey Horton in college, right? Like,
yeah.
What are we kidding? He should have been drafted way earlier. Like he's a really good. I was hoping the Rams would take him. I was, and especially if they were going to draft a receiver. Oh man, I wanted Horton for 2 years. I was like, this dude, he has like that captain mentality, leader, all of that. Like that would be really good to add to your wide receiver room. He can block, big play. Seattle has a good one there. So
they don't know that though.
They do. Oh, they know. He's going to be the number 3 receiver. You heard it here.
Yeah.
I mean, not first. I'm not the first one to say it, but I know he will be. But yeah, Xavier is not a better Tutu. I like Xavier, but let's understand something. Tutu, to your point, has a rare blend of speed, his natural hands, his ability to go up. He's 5'8", 5'9", but he plays the ball in the air. He's not afraid to go up and Randy Moss it. I've seen it, and I don't know why. Like, guys like that typically don't offer anything above the rim. Tutu does. So that's the difference there. And then Zaylor's back at it. Love Puka, but he gets hurt during games a lot. And that kind of coincides with what we were saying. You got to keep 6, because if you don't keep 6, what's going to happen is one of these guys will go down, because it is the NFL. And if one of those guys goes down, be it for a game or more, well, guess what? In that game, now you're down to 5 receivers.
Yeah.
If you have 6. If you're down Puka Nakua and you didn't keep 6 on your roster, well, now you're down to 4. So it very much weakens you. And that's a position where, you can say we have a lot of tight ends and running backs, and you got to have 6 receivers on a roster. I think 5, you're really cutting it. 4 is just not even a thing. I think one team did that, and then they immediately picked up 2. So that's also a strategy, LaQuan. I mean, you know this. Teams will just be like, you know what? I don't like any of you. Like, I'm keeping 4 of you, and that's it. And then they wait. And then the guys that get cut, they're immediately scooped up and placed on the 53.
Scrambling.
So teams do that. The Rams aren't typically one of those teams because they don't really have players like that they don't like. So, yeah, it'll be interesting for sure. The return job, though, I definitely think Xavier won. Britton Covey is a former Pro Bowler, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't really see him ousting Xavier Smith, mainly because I don't hear about him. I don't. They
That
talk
too.
about X. They don't talk about Covey. But you know who I do hear a lot about? Willie Lampkin the fourth.
Oh man, little Willie. Pause.
That is got to be one of my all-time favorite players that they've added via UDFA or just any rookie ever. I
They
love
got him
him.
playing guard. They had him playing guard today, so that's good. You know, with Bo Limmer playing center, so that's good to hear that he's starting to get that chemistry with the future because Bo is obviously going to be with us for a very long time. So that's good to see them get that early chemistry. But man, Willie, that boy's different.
The little engine that could. Good Lord.
Yeah, man.
So, where are you on the offensive line? Because it's so funny. Today I'm watching, and, you know, DJ Humphries is not out there. I don't know
No.
why. No one knows why. We'll find out, I'm sure, at some point.
Yeah.
Quesenberry is starting at left tackle.
Left tackle starting. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And, you know, then you start to be like, well, Quesenberry, not on mine, but a lot of people's 53, he wasn't making it because they have like an influx of tackles. I was like, I got to be honest with you. They're keeping him. They just are. Looking at the offensive line, though, I don't know how many guys they're going to keep, if I'm being honest with you, LQ. But I kind of think that it's going to be between guys like Willie Lampkin the fourth, KT Leviston, Justin Diedick, Wyatt Bowles. But what say you? And I mean, would you keep those? Like, would you keep? Obviously, you're going to keep Willie. I would assume. I'm definitely going to. But like, what would you say after that? Like, what is that position battle looking like? Because problem is, see, with wide receivers, we know it's going to be 5 or 6. With offensive line, it could be 9, it could be 10, it could be 11.
Yeah.
It
I'm
can't
about
be
to say
12.
that number's usually up there. I would say we
Yeah.
sit between that 10 and 11 because, like, we've seen our line look as healthy as can be 3 weeks before the season. Week 1 comes, we only got 3 healthy guys. So, like, I don't want to get back to that 2022 or 2023 season, you know, and having that PTSD, it's where, like, I'd rather we have the guys that's been with us through the entire camp cycle, been in the rooms and understand what type of like culture and type of bar we're setting to step up to be here to protect Matthew Stafford. So when it comes to that, it's like I rather the more that are going to stay consistent on this line and build this chemistry because I know you remember like we're pulling guys off, you know, off the street, off their Dunkin' Donuts shift, and guys just coming in, not playing a lick of football and not
Right out of
having
the
any
police
type of
academy.
camp. Yeah, right out of the police academy. Like guys are coming straight out of goddamn work, out of the Destina, out of the AMC movie theater, bro. Like, come on. Like, I'm just looking at this like there's no chemistry. There's nothing consistent. And like when you look to your left, you look to your right, it's a different guy every 2-3 weeks because of injuries. So I'm good staying at that 10 mark, 11 mark where we might have to sacrifice at other positions. Maybe it's the tight ends. You know, we have a lot of guys in the tight end room right now. Maybe it's a sacrifice at other positions on defense, but whatever the case may be, when it comes down to it, let's develop these guys to be good guys to be able to protect a guy that is dealing with a back injury right now.
I agree completely. And I think that's the big thing is like, okay, you might say, and I understand, I'm not trying to knock people who don't have Quesenberry on their 53, right? Like, I'm not trying to say I'm better than you or I know more than you. But what I am trying to say is I want the best offensive lineman on the team. I want the best 53.
Period. Yeah.
So you can tell me, and this is, I get it. I understand how you look at it. If you don't think Quesenberry should make the roster, it's because you probably think they have way too many tackles. But what I would tell you is if he's one of the best offensive linemen they have, what's the point of cutting a guy who belongs on the 53 just because you'd rather take a hit because you're like, well, we have a need for interior, but now you're keeping an interior guy that's the way like lower on the totem pole, you know, talent, athleticism, whatever, to the guy that you want to cut because you have too much of it. You don't have too much of anything in the NFL. That's just the reality of it. You find out really quickly things seem to take care of themselves. If you want to say, oh, they have too many quarterbacks, well, guess what? Stafford goes down. Then you have Garoppolo, who's also dealt with injury. Then you have Stetson Bennett. Guess what? Now you're down to one quarterback if those two go down, right? So there's no such thing as too many. Too many running backs? No. There's also an increased practice squad. Back in the day, it used to be like 10, and then I think it went up to 13. Then it went down to like 8, and then now it's at 16 or 17. I think 17 if you do the International Pathway Program. which you don't get to choose who's on the practice squad. They just kind of plop somebody internationally. It's cool, but it's like,
welcome, mate.
yeah. So, so yeah, like 16, right? So you get 16 practice squad guys. Here's how I would always build the roster. This is just from my perspective. I'm going with the best players. If I feel as though, this is where you can get into trouble. Perfect example. We'll talk about it in a little bit here, but Sean Dolak, right? They're like, well, we don't want to keep 5 inside linebackers, right? It's like, okay, well, here's the deal. Sean Dolak is going to get picked up. If you cut him, he's going to be one of the waiver claims, no doubt. 100%. Is Elias Neal? Is Tony Fields the second? Is Troy Reeder? The answer is no. There's also a good chance that he's better than Troy Reeder. Now, I don't know for sure because Troy Reeder, to be fair, has played in a Super Bowl. He's played a lot of games in this league. He has, the experience that you can't just discredit. But what I do know is, let's just say, Troy Reeder's better right now. Well, Sean Dolak and the body of work that he's already shown and how quickly he's learned the defense, according to Chris Shula, and how he could basically teach it, according to Greg Williams, the linebacker coach. I mean, at that point, you have to assume they have something here. And are you willing to let that go and understand, yeah, he's one of the best 53 players on the team, but we have too many linebackers. Okay, well then cut a different position. Find another spot where it's like, yeah, this guy's kind of a borderline. We're going to keep him. No, cut that guy. But don't cut the guy that's not a borderline. The guy that is clearly one of the best 53, you're making your team worse by cutting him just because you're like, well, we have plenty of linebackers. So
you're cutting the guy that I think honestly has shown that one of our biggest problems in the past from our linebacker group specifically was finishing tackles, being able to complete the tackle, wrap up, like the simple things in life, and there were some guys, I don't want to point the fingers, I don't want to be the bad guy, but some guys were in position just based on that was best available to understand the defense. But guys were still going out there, trying to up their game. Like I would say Christian Roseboom, like his game increased as the season went on with Omar Speights, like it just took the kind of understanding and chemistry with Dolak and Pooh Paul. These are the future. You were breaking up a dynamic duo because these guys are Tasmanian devils completing tackles, one of our biggest problems. So I don't want to let those guys kind of venture off far. Like, keep these guys in house because they will become enemies.
Always
the very next day. Always assume they're going to be coming back and spinning back and being a thorn in your side. So guys like that, come back here. You don't walk out the door. You're here, at all costs. I feel like where one of our areas need to be hyper-focused was obviously the interior to stop the run and also our linebackers. Like we need guys that need to be flying around the field. Like I was talking to DeMarco Farr the other day. You remember when we had the hybrid in Mark Barron? Reason why Mark Barron was an unlimited motor because he used to play safety. And he didn't even want to play linebacker. He refused to go to linebacker. But when he came to the Rams, when we traded for him, they're like, listen, dog, you have to play some linebacker, bro, because you can tackle. Like, we need to get back to that. Like, start getting more players with that bulldog mentality that can go out there in the trenches and contribute to stopping the run. That's exactly what you have in Dolak.
I agree. I totally agree. Obviously, there's no worry about Chris Paul making it. He's going to make the roster. But
yeah,
Sean Dolak is kind of on the outside looking in if they're only going to keep 4 because – Troy Reeder was with the ones today. So I just don't foresee them being like, yeah, we're going to keep rolling him with the ones and have him get all this experience and have all these guys playing around him and build a rapport and then be like, yeah, it was just a facade. He's not going to make the team. Like, I don't think that at all.
Or they could be showcasing him so he could shop his talent so another team come pick him up.
I'm going to say no.
Alley-oop guys for another opportunity, I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here.
Yeah, I'm going to call BS on that, but I appreciate that.
You got it, Jake.
Again, I like Troy Reeder. I do. I just don't like him when he's going to take up a spot from a guy like Sean Dolak, who I have been clamoring for since February. Like, that would make me mad. That would genuinely make me upset. Elias Neal, by the way, had a really good day. He had a really good blitz where he got a sack, and then Omar Spates also. And I think it's intriguing because when you look at the way that they have kind of been doing their pressures, in joint practices, looks like we're going to see a lot of kind of that Bobby Wagner. When they had Wagner, they're like, yeah, just go and hunt, right? Like we trust you. And I think Spates is really good at block shedding, and overall deconstruction.
Very physical player.
He is. I liked what I saw from Neal. This is something though. This is a bread and butter for Chris Paul Jr. This is a bread and butter for Sean Dolak. They did this last year in college at a really, really high clip. I think that these guys fit. You know who doesn't do that well? Troy Reader. Aside from those 3 sacks randomly he had against Washington in 2020, never understand that game in a million years, but I was happy for him.
He was on one.
Yeah, I think it was my birthday that day. But anyway.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's like, yeah. I felt bad because the entire time
my boy
I'm like,
Jake, you watching?
Yeah, the entire time I'm like, put Alex Smith down. Don't break his leg again. Like,
oh man.
Dude, that was scary. Then they knocked him out of the game, and I'm like, oh. And they zoom in on his family right before the snap, and then boom, he gets knocked out, and you're like, oh no. And they had what was it, Kyle something? I can't remember. Kyle Allen? Yeah, Kyle Allen.
Ron Rivera is the coach, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's coming back to me.
How did they not win the Super Bowl that year with that defense? That defense was insane. They were number 1.
I don't know, man.
Well, we know because they didn't have Stafford. They had Goff. That was the difference. So I guess let's just skip right to the linebackers. Okay. You got, we were just talking about Dolak. Then you got Elias Neal. You got Tony. I thought Tony Fields balled out on Saturday.
Yeah.
So they have some guys. But let me ask you this. The cornerback room. From who I've talked to, the Rams are anticipating losing all of them. They are not anticipating any of those guys being able, if they cut them, they're not anticipating those guys to be able to be brought on the practice squad. They're hoping, but they're not expecting. A lot of teams around the league, they expect that are going to pluck the hell out of their DB room, which makes sense. But the linebackers, do you think an Eli Neal, do you think a Tony Fields II, do you feel Sean Dolak, we're going to say no. I think you and I both agree he's gone. The moment you press send on the wave button, he's already on the 49ers or the Cardinals or the Seahawks or another team.
Seriously.
But Elias Neal, Tony Fields II, they don't feel like camp bodies. These guys are good players. Unfortunately, any other Rams roster, they'd have a shot. But this one, they actually care about linebackers this year. I'm going to say they don't. Do they have a shot to be on the practice squad, or do you think a team picks one of them up?
I think that they're going to be like probably 1 or 2 guys that probably get picked up, to be honest. Because I do think we can acquire one and put him on our practice squad, but our linebackers are kind of solid right now. Like Nate Landman, we got freaking Omar Spates. That's going to be our 1 and 2. And then our backups is going to be Dolak. Yeah, Dolak and Whipple Paul. So I think you hold that 4 strong. And I guess your 5th can be the pickings if it's Neal or if you think it's going to be Hampton. I mean, I don't know, man. Because when it comes down to the linebackers, that was a hyper focus that we needed to go into this season. And we just were lucky enough to get a good batch. But not all these guys are going to be able to stay.
No, it's going to be tough. Outside linebackers, by the way, Kier Thomas, Nick Hampton, Brendan Jackson, Jameel Muhammad had a good day against the Chargers on Saturday. Looking at that, we know who the 3 are going to stay no matter what, right?
Yeah.
Josiah Stewart having that sack, and he looked really good. Obviously, Byron Young, Jared Verse. But do you think they keep 4 or 5? Because I actually am leaning towards them keeping Kier Thomas and Brendan Jackson. And Kier Thomas he actually was with the ones today, and he also started the preseason game, only played 6 snaps, and you saw what he did in the postseason. Nick Hampton has just been kind of disappointing. I don't know if I always kind of felt like maybe they should have tried him at inside backer, just because he was kind of a tweener coming out of App State, and I liked him, but I just felt like he was more of an inside backer with good pass rushing flexibility. The idea that he's just a pass rusher, I don't know if I agree with that. But he didn't really do anything in that practice squad that preseason game against the Cowboys. I think I said Chargers last one. And then Brennan Jackson is somebody that I feel like people are just waiting for him to show up, because the run defense, which you know this, if you're an edge defender, and this is why I call them edge defenders, not edge rushers, because they do more than just rush the passer.
Yeah.
So if you're an edge defender, and you know this, the casual audience is not going to give you credit for stopping the run. They want to see you rush the passer. If you don't get sacks, you're not good. So I think Brennan Jackson's in a tough spot. And obviously not like the Rams coaches, but I think just in general, people are watching him and they're just not impressed because he's not getting pressure on the quarterback. But at the same time, this guy can set the edge and he is effective as a run defender. Where are you on the outside linebackers on this roster?
Put them at special teams, because we need guys to be able to show up on special teams as well that can cover those edges, that can see the lanes that are being created through the blocks and be able to shed blocks. We need physical guys, and that's always going to be the bar of where we need those guys. Stick them on special teams. If guys, if we're going to the season and we're going to be holding on to a lot of edge rushers or edge defenders, then we should be able to have them put in certain areas of where we're weak at. And special teams, I gotta say, I'm kind of not that locked into it, but we kind of been mid the last couple of years. It's not the Johnny Hekker, excitement with Bones on the sideline era. It's not that anymore.
They're getting there.
Those we're on the up and up, but we are still not in that era anymore where guys are showing up and making big plays on special teams. So how I look at this is we need guys that can tackle. That's it. We need physical guys. That's the literal bar that we need for all our edge defenders and for our inside linebackers.
Yeah, and it's funny. Shot by Nolan says that's where Reader can go.
No, because they will break one up the perimeter and we are screwed. No,
I was waiting for that one. So yeah, I think Kier's locked in. I'm gonna say it. I know it's kind of bold. I think Kier Thomas did enough in the postseason last year where the Rams are we really like his development. FSU kid, we got UDFA. I think he was a pretty sought after recruit, and just for whatever reason, as far as a prospect, he didn't move the needle. Oh, he had a 2 RAS, which is why I don't put all the stock in the world in a relative athletic score. I think it's a great tool, but the Rams have shown you multiple times when it comes to UDFAs, they don't give a rip about what your RAS or what your athletics. What they actually do is when it comes to the draft, they care about athleticism, all of that. They care about the GPS, they have that. But when it comes to UDFA, they want guys that are just good football players. And you see it with Tank McCullough, right? McCullough's not the most athletic dude. But guess what? He plays more athletic than he tests on the field. And guess where that matters? On the field. I don't care how you tested. If you go out there, say, and this has always been my thing, when I'm scouting players and I see they run a 4.2 40, but then I'm watching the tape and I'm that's more like a 4.5. Now I got concerns are you playing slow? Is the game too fast for you? If you can't play as fast as you run, then I'm not getting that speed. And your 40 time doesn't mean diddly squat. So, that's always been my thing. And, I think when you look at a guy like Kier Thomas, who again had a 2 RAS score, has it mattered? He was still making plays against the Eagles. He was making plays in the Seahawks game, week 18. He was making plays against the Vikings. He's a baller. And the big thing about Kier is that he's turned into a better pass rusher, but his calling card has always been as a run defender. So I'm excited for him. But speaking of run defenders, Larry Murchison, Desjuan Johnson, I'm going to ask you, defensive line right now, are they going to keep 5? Are they going to keep 6? Are they going to go 7? Where do you see it? Because I think right now, obviously, you got Fisk, you got Poona Ford, you got Kobe Turner, you got Ty Davis, you got Ty Hamilton. That's 5. So All 5 of those guys, I believe, are locked and loaded. They're ready to go. But are
Yeah,
you going to
because
keep a 6th or 7th to keep one of these guys on your roster or both?
no, I think we lock it up after Tyler Davis, man. Ty Hamilton. And I do feel like, that's not a bad number to go into the season with because
Mhm.
we usually have guys that stay healthy and then we have guys that can perform and fill that gap in productivity. So I don't think that's an area where we need to go in heavy with on the trailer. Like that's a kind of a spot that can be rotated out in a sense of keeping guys fresh as well. Like I would love to see Josiah Stewart get in there with a Kobe Turner. I would love to see a Ty Hamilton and Puna Ford on the goal line and the 5 yard line trying to make a stop. Like those are the combinations that I hope we can get off. And like I think stopping the bar after Tyler Davis is like really where it needs to be at.
Yeah, it's tough because I love the development of Desjuan Johnson. You see it on tape. He's still a really good player. Could he sneak by and get on the practice squad? Maybe. It's going to be tough because he made it right out of the gate onto the 53. And then you got Laryl Murchison, who they sign again. And this is a player, they picked up after the Titans cut him, and they've liked him for a while. And then you have guys that I think will go on the practice squad. A guy like a Jack Heflin, who had a really good, kind of underrated performance against the Cowboys, and like a Dejon Terry and Bill Norton. I think all 3 of those guys could be added to the practice squad. The question is, do you want to spend, out of your 16, do you want 3 of those guys to be on the defensive line? Because it gets filled up quickly. And to me, I think they're going to pick 1 or 2. I think the hope would be any of the, Laryl Murchison or Desjuan Johnson, any of those guys end up, getting back onto the practice squad. Murchison's more
Yeah.
likely. He's older. So you can have that veteran on the practice squad now with the, the improved, I'm going to call it improved rules on the practice squad, because I never understood why it could only be like, the bottom of the
At once
barrel,
upon a
or
time,
like,
it was like 10. I'm like,
yeah,
how the heck is that even fair?
10, and you can only be like a rookie or like a second year guy with only 3 games. Ridiculous.
Insane.
So I like the way they've done it. And keep in mind, you do get those 3 games where you sign them to the active roster. You can
Yeah.
elevate them on game day, but then they have to go on to the 53 or they're stuck on the practice squad the whole year. I could see them doing that with some of these guys, but we'll find out. And then looking at the cornerback position, right? Tough one, because in the past, the Rams have been like, we'll keep 4 or 5. And now their cornerbacks, I think they're very deep, because
Very
obviously they were going
versatile.
after, they are. They were going after 4 today, and Kello was just making them pay. It was hilarious. They did not get the memo. I don't know what the Saints were doing,
Locked in.
but yeah, I mean, dude was tunnel vision. Like, you tried to throw on him and it just didn't work out ever. Now, unfortunately, my guy Emmanuel Forbes had a little bit of a rough time in some aspects today, mainly with Rashid Shaheed. That's what I was
Mhm.
reading. So, Shaheed, he gave him some fits. Kello was great. Darius, I'm going to say this right now. Darius Williams is way better on Sundays than he is in practice. He does not put in the effort of some of the other corners in practice. I'll tell you that right now. The social media post they shared the other day with Devontae Adams going up again, he did not care. He was like,
All right.
he's jogging,
It's
and
just
look,
practice.
yeah, I don't exactly love that, energy, but hey, the point being
You
is,
practice how you play sometimes, though, because it was very hard to watch Darius Williams in the early portions of last season. So you
yes,
better
not as
snap
hard
in and get
as
off
Trey
this slow
White.
start. Well, yeah, he's coming back from Achilles. I gave him a little slack, but
I know. I felt bad for him because I they had some sort of plan for him, and then
but
Darius
it was
Williams goes
bad
down.
timing. Bad timing for him with our fans and us wanting to get back to the golden areas where we had lockdown corners. Like
Yeah,
that's just what it is. Like
and
you
his
came
big
in a
name,
bad time.
you
You're a
know.
big name guy, and like we're in a spot right now where we are hurting at. Like we are desperate to just get some type of leadership, get some type of veteranship there, some experience, and be able to step up and be the guy that we know you can be. But he's in Buffalo now, so we cut ties, we good.
Yeah, he's back in Buffalo. It all worked out in the end. They traded him to the
Yeah,
Ravens. I don't remember what they got, but the fact they got something for
yeah,
him was crazy.
that's
Um,
crazy.
I will continue to say it till I'm blue in the face. They never should have signed him. It has nothing to do with him. They found a really good corner in Akello for cheap. He was controllable, and he's been a leader in the back end, and they kind of messed around. And, they bring in Tre'Davious White, and he's not 100%. And then they lose Darius Williams, and now Trey White, who they were trying to, he's going to be really good in November. Well, what if you don't have until November, right? So they end up real quick realizing, we screwed up. We should get Akello. And I'll tell you right now, they're lucky they came in when they did, because there were other teams, the Colts, the Falcons, the Giants, I think the Jets, got picked up ASAP. The Ravens. There were a lot of teams that wanted Akello with
like he's a Ram, and he just feels like a Ravens corner, like just aggressive. Like it's just like,
isn't that funny?
You could see him in that purple and black already. Like, geez, hopefully he don't go nowhere. Hopefully he's spin back. We gotta sign him.
That's the hope, man. I mean, I'll tell you right now, he feels different than any other Rams corner. He's got some like Jalen Ramsey to him, but he's still more low key. Like he plays calm, cool, collected, doesn't let the emotions really affect his play. I mean, every now and then he'll get up and do, whatever. But I mean, we all do that, right? Or not really. I mean, I don't just, you imagine that was a great video.
Yeah, no, facts. As soon as I walk out the shower, I just hit the
Oh man,
that's serious.
But no, like the cornerback room looks really good. You got him, you got Kobe, you got Darius, as long as he's not practicing. Emmanuel Forbes. I think Emmanuel Forbes is locked in to this roster. I do.
Yeah.
So then,
you know why though? Because he's a first round talent. He's a first round talent, and I think McVay is hoping that we can develop him to play that first round talent tag, because he has the wingspan and he has so much potential to be a ball hawk. But it's like we just need to get it together, and he needs to stay healthy. Like he's putting on some muscle, he's gotten a little bit heavier, and it's like he's getting opportunities with the ones. Like we saw that today. Like things are starting to ramp up to where I think we're going to be talking about him as one of the pillars of this defense in the back end of the season. Because I think right now he has the confidence. Like when we got him, man, he kind of was just like beat up with confidence, man. This is a young kid still. So we ended up getting a diamond that was in the trash. Like, what is he doing there? So like I was really excited when we ended up getting him last season. So I have high hopes for him. Let's just say that for this season.
Oh, I do too. He's actually one of my all-time favorite corners I've ever scouted. I mean, put him up there with Jair Alexander.
Wow.
He put him up there with Chidobe Awuzie, because those are guys that I loved. By the way, the Rams did try to get Awuzie. I don't know if you knew that. They tried, and he chose the Ravens. So, but they were there. They tried to reunite Awuzie with his old Colorado teammate Akello. So they were in there.
I mean, that would have been dope to see.
Yeah, I would have loved it. I've always been a fan.
Pulled up faster.
Yeah, and then Jordan,
what was it? Need help.
Yeah, and speaking of random Cowboys cornerbacks, Jordan Lewis. Did you see
Jordan Lewis? No.
Yeah, so the Jaguars signed him, right? And apparently this is a guy that when I'm blanking on his name. The guy who's with the Rams, who went over he's now the GM of the Jaguars. I don't know why I'm blanking on his name. But he... Gladstone, yes. Yeah, James Gladstone.
There you go.
So Gladstone apparently was obsessed with this player. Like he wanted him when he was with the Rams. Yeah. So I was like, damn. Like just obsessed with Cowboys. Is Trayvon Diggs, is a Dayron Bland in the future? Like, damn.
Maybe.
But no.
Who knows?
But all jokes aside, though, I really do like that they went out and got Forbes. He's somebody that I wanted them to draft in the first round. And then he went way earlier than I anticipated, but he went about as early as I had him on my board because I had him as a top 15 player.
We wasn't paying that, bro. We was not. You were waiting until like the damn near 4th, 5th round before we started looking at corners. It's kind of crazy.
I know. They didn't even look at corner this year.
No, not at all. That's what made me feel like, okay, you guys must feel really confident about this room. Like, okay, let's see how this works out.
And I mean, they didn't even have. I think they had Akello before the draft, but yeah, it was Akello. Yeah, I mean, they had the same guys before the draft, pretty much. They cut Darion Kendrick to lower his money. And then he comes back. I feel bad because I don't think he's going to make the team. But you know what's interesting? And I jotted these notes down. I'm going to read this off to you because it could mean something. It could mean absolutely nothing. But hey, we're gonna speculate. That's what we do during joint
Let's do it.
practices, live streams.
That's
right?
all we got right now.
Yeah, it's all we got. So I jotted down the order of the Rams cornerbacks in the red zone drill. And the reason why is because typically when, say, you have your depth chart or whatever, your running backs, right? The first guy who gets the carry is your starter. The second guy's the backup and so forth. So I don't know if that's what they were doing with the corners. And of course, there's no Darian Kendrick in this list. So either I missed him or he was held out, whatever. Unit 1 was Akello and Darius Williams. That was the first unit.
Word.
That's what I would expect the stars to be. Then Unit 2, Kobe Durant and Emmanuel Forbes Jr. So those are your top 4. Unit 3 is where it gets interesting. AJ Green and Charles Woods. And then Unit 3. And then Unit 4, Cam Lampkin and Sean Jolly. So notice I didn't mention Josh Wallace and I didn't mention Darian Kendrick. And now here's the weird thing, okay? I'm going to throw this at ULQ. Josh Wallace, in my opinion, is almost impossible to evaluate what they think about him because he moved to safety. Did you know that?
That's what I meant by versatility. There's so much versatility on this defense where you can shift guys from your corner to your safety, from your safety to your corner to your nickel. With Quentin Lake, and he's versatile as well in his own likes. Like, that's what I think Crisciolo is going for with this secondary. So I think that's why we may be a little bit heavy on our corners, just based on you could put these guys anywhere in that certain point. So I feel like versatility, it makes your your secondary a lot more dangerous on Sundays because guys are not going to know. I haven't gotten a rhythm of him over there. I don't know if I can throw that way aggressively. Oh no, this guy's been fresh coming off the sideline. He's been ball hawking. Like, that's exactly what these quarterbacks are going to have to deal with. And I think when you have that versatility, it makes a lot more things on Sunday interesting for us because that's how you get those picks last season from Cam Curl and Cam Kitchen. That's how you get with McLaughlin and he goes out there and does what he does. That's how you get these guys all come together as a pack because they're playing as a unit. So I want our young, disciplined secondary to keep the momentum that they've been going all throughout this camp.
No, I love that. I think it's very well put. And yeah, I just thought it was really interesting because it's gotten to that point where if Josh Wallace isn't even a corner right now, I have no idea what they're going to do with him because he was a good corner last year. And if they see him as kind of like that star, because he's been playing that star, safety role and everything, who is that? Who is that position battle? Because he's clearly not in a battle with the CB5, right? I think if they keep another corner, this thing is wide freaking open. Like, I don't think it's going to be Kendrick, but I Charles Woods played really well. Really good click and close. I thought you saw that. That was evident on Saturday. Josh Wallace isn't in the picture because we're talking about him being the star. Then you have AJ Green, who, yes, he gives up the touchdown. He gave up another play, but he looked really good. Had 2 pass breakups. I'm about to say,
I think they like him. I think they like him because even in the joint practice with the Cowboys, like, he looked fresh and he looked alert. Like, I think these guys, like, when we're seeing them, they're still in the development phase. It's like, we're still 2 weeks out right now, and I know cuts are going to happen, but they're in-house, and I think they like AJ Green. I do think that he is one of the guys that needs to be in the orbit of like, hey, this guy can be on our 53 because, again, the versatility is what we're going for.
It's funny you say that because I was told last year, there's a kid probably not going to be called up or anything this year, going to just chill in the practice squad. You'll see him next offseason. His name is AJ Green. And I was like, wait a minute.
The running back?
No, actually, I was like, I think I interviewed him.
No way.
Yep. Alexis and I interviewed him on Downtown Rams. And I actually just had this realization pretty recently. But yeah, I was told like, this AJ Green guy, they think they got something in him. Like the Browns, I guess, cut him. I'm going to look it up real quick because now I need to know, like, I think he was drafted by the Browns, if I'm not mistaken, out of Oklahoma State, I want to say. of course, you can't search AJ Green without the wide receiver coming up. That was idiotic on my
Yeah, I
behalf,
was about to say the one's gonna come up ASAP.
but yeah. So yeah, he was drafted. Oh, he's undrafted. Oklahoma State. I was right. He was undrafted with the Browns from 2020 to 2023. Then he goes to the Vikings last year. And then the Rams pick him up in November onto the practice squad, and he signs a reserve future contract in January. Yeah, I heard this about him.
That's a KOC
So November,
right there.
yeah, November 18th, 2024. So I heard about it probably around the December mark. I don't think it was in postseason, but it was getting there. And it was like, yeah, this AJ Green kid, keep an eye on him. He's a good player. They like him more than you would think. And I wouldn't be surprised if he is in the running to make the roster next year. He's not a camp body. And I was specifically told that. So I've been keeping an eye on him. Charles Woods, of course, was on the roster to start last year. So was Josh Wallace. So that's intriguing. But then that Unit 4, I heard, I didn't see what happened because the camera was, it's a Saints broadcast, right? So the camera was fixated on like Shuck throwing the football. But I didn't see where the ball went, but all I heard is, Jolly, let's go, Jolly. So, like, Sean Jolly did something that I didn't even get to see. And, of course, it was Aubrey Pleasant. Seems like one of the coolest dudes ever. Sean Jolly has been on this roster what feels like 10 years.
Oh, God.
And he's not actually been on the roster. He's been, like, hovering around the organization, practice
he must be a good laugh, man, a good guy to be around. Like some guys are just locker room guys, and that just seems like what this is.
Yeah, it's wild. It feels like Sean Jolly's been here forever. I don't know why, but it does. Because he has 2022 to now. So that's a long time.
The dark times. He's been with us with the dark times.
Yeah, Sean Jolly's been around for a minute. I would imagine he's a practice squad guy. And then who's the other? Oh, Cam Lampkin. So Lampkin had a huge game on Saturday. Had a great interception, looked really good. Then he had a crazy pass breakup on, I couldn't tell if it was Olave or who it was. It looked like 12, but I couldn't see in the joint practice today against the Saints at the goal line. He's got some moxie. I think they're going to lose him because I don't think they're going to keep him. I kind of feel like they're going to go with 4 corners, and maybe they'll make the argument they'll call Josh Wallace a corner, but like that kind of flexibility to play the star, it almost kind of tells me that they have a role for him, and so they're going to keep him, but to make themselves feel good, they're going to list him as a corner. So it's like, oh, see, we only kept 5 corners. We didn't keep 5 safeties, kept 5 corners.
There you go. That's how you get around that. Good thinking.
Yeah. That's kind of what I'm thinking right now. But I mean, I could see an argument for Woods. I could see an argument for Green. I could see an argument for Lampkin. Even Kendrick. I don't get the vibe Kendrick will be back. Maybe he's on the practice squad, whatever. Cam Lampkin, though, what are your thoughts on him? Because I feel like, he was on the team last year, on the practice squad last year, and he didn't really have a great preseason. Didn't stand out to me at all. He looks like he's playing with this fire, this tenacity that I didn't see last year. What are your thoughts on him? Because he stood out to me.
When you stand out like that in preseason after just being with us for a year, so you're knowing the culture, you're knowing the defense, and being a guy to stand out. And I've said it before, it's about being the most exotic. If you're going to be out there fidgety, handsy, and you're going to be physical, that's exactly what we're going to be looking for, because that gives us back to that lockdown corner that we've been chasing, man. I'm not talking about like Janoris Jenkins type, but he is one of those guys that can go out there and put hands on you. So I think when you look at Lampton, it's going to be week 2 preseason against the Chargers this week that we're going to have to
I think I lost you.
really have a evaluate at the highest level. Oh, no. Oh, did I go out?
Yeah, you like went out. I was like, you're like, yeah, I think he's going to go against the Chargers. And then you went out. And I was just like, oh, crap.
Well, I was basically highlighting that this preseason game for guys like him that we are questioning, that we're liking what we're seeing in practice, they're going to be under a microscope. This is going to be their dress rehearsal. This is going to be, hey, I'm going to stand out today, be the most exotic, and I'm going to make this team. But again, it's going to be very hard. It's going to be very hard when it comes to that fifth spot, because are we going to be that deep at the corner position?
Yeah, it is going to be hard. And I honestly
Oh my God, this happened last time.
I would argue that this is what I'll say. I don't know if these guys are way better than they were last year, but I feel like the competitive nature of this roster this year is going to get the most out of these guys. And I think this cornerback room is going to be tested more than they ever have been. And that's why I think you do get kind of that, like, yeah, they're playing freely. They're playing, how they would, but there's a sense here, like there's a roster to make. This is, and another thing I want to say is, the whole offseason has been this team is not satisfied. They believe that they should have won the Super Bowl last year. They believe they should have beaten Philly. And they believe that they're going to go and right their wrong. And when you're kind of a fringe roster guy and you're seeing all that, you're hearing all that, you're like, yeah, I kind of want to be a part of this team, right? I don't want to have to go and play for the Browns or something, right? So,
oh man.
So yeah, it's
well, the Dolphins, they need some secondary guys. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the NFL, right? One of these guys gets cut, a team has no corner depth, and they're like, oh hey, Charles Woods, come on down. That's just kind of the NFL. That's how these guys leave. Yeah. I mean, it's not every time. Unlike, it's a different type of job. If your job tells you we don't want you anymore and they fire you, they're not like waiting to, oh yeah, we want to claim you onto our backup, speed dial. It doesn't work that way. But football's different because you have to, abide by a salary cap. And then you also have to navigate what makes sense. Sometimes you're going to keep a guy because he's more likely to be picked up. And then you're not going to keep the guy that you don't think is going to get picked up. And then he does get picked up. And it's like, well, did I cut you because I didn't want you back? No, I cut you because I didn't have a choice, but I did want you to go on what I would call our speed dial, right? Our practice squad. So that's the thing. And so it's tough to navigate that. But no, I think that the Rams have a really good problem to have when it comes to all these guys. And I think we're going to wrap it. But how do we want to wrap it? I'm going to say this because people want us to address it. And you and I are in the same boat. Matthew Stafford did not practice this week. He is set to throw, just like he did last week, on Saturday before the game. Where's your concern level for Matthew Stafford right now?
We shall find out on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z, because how I look at it as, this better be a ramped up drill session from what it was last week. We need to be starting getting the ballpark in shape and like, hey, are we lying to the media, to our fans, or are we lying to ourselves? That's what it's going to come down to. Is he going to be ready for week one? Because as we get closer, the more scary this is going to look for some Rams fans, the more scarier this is going to look for the media. But me and you, Jake, we're going to stay cool, calm, and collected, because everything that they're doing is showing like, hey, I don't care if Stafford's 100% today. I want him 100% in September. Week one, Texans, SoFi. That's all that matters to me. That's all that should matter to anybody. So when they're doing all these healing pod and the hyperbolic time chamber or whatever, trying to get him back to 100%, that does not make me sit here and worry and shake in my boots, because it's like, I understand my guy. I understand the injury, and he is one of the toughest SOBs in the game. So do not doubt that Matthew Stafford will be the guy to cop out and say, hey, I don't want to play. You're right.
So permission to call him the Immortal if he goes off.
The Immortal. Yes, please. Yes.
Oh man. Oh, you have to spell it with the A, I guess, because that's the name of the. But yeah, I've said it. People have asked me so many times. I am not concerned. I'm not. No. I would be if it was more so I didn't hear that this was the plan all along and they were going to take it really easy. But no, I got to be honest. I'm not concerned. It's not a kind of a play. It's not me like, oh, I'm putting on a brave face. No, because I don't care that much. Like, I'll tell you straight up how I feel.
Yeah.
People know that, right? Like, if I don't like what they're doing, I'm gonna come out and I'm going to ridicule it. Or if I do, I'm gonna come out and respect it. I think this is the smartest thing that they could do. I actually would argue that Stafford probably should have had this going last year and the year prior, because when he suffered that back injury, the spinal contusion
Yeah,
in
2022.
2022, I would have been cautious about the whole offseason. The reality of the situation is this: you have a 37-year-old who has back issues. Okay. Doesn't sound great. But then you realize that 37-year-old is Matthew Stafford. And it's like, oh, this dude,
Mm.
hate to break it to you, this is Matthew Stafford in a nutshell. This is Matthew Stafford at 27. Blame the Lions for taking years off his career. This guy could have played until he was 48.
Exactly.
He could have. But
So
he's
I blame
not
Detroit.
even. Yeah, I always blame Detroit. Detroit should be blamed. So,
Exactly.
but yeah, I'm not worried. I'm excited for that. And then, one more thing. Justin Herbert is going to start in the preseason
His first
game.
ever preseason. Wow.
I can't believe it.
This goes back to the corners that we were just talking about when we were leaving that conversation. This is the dress rehearsal. You're going up against a starter. So whoever gets those 1 reps or even rotated into different spots on that defense in that secondary, show up, show out. You have Justin Herbert on tape for your talent to showcase it. Go ahead and pick him off. He threw 4 in the playoffs. Make him do it in the preseason, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go.
Absolutely. I was kind of stoked when I saw that. I'm also kind of confused because the Chargers just lost Rashawn Slater for the year and they're not gun shy. They're like, oh, well, let's just throw Justin Herbert out there. Might as well just get it all out of the way now. Like,
they must not know that Josiah Stewart might be cooking.
Oh man,
be on that ass.
well, hopefully everyone stays healthy, right? That's a big thing. We don't want anybody going down with injuries, but really looking forward to Saturday. Oh man, LQ, this has been a blast as always. I'll get you back on soon. And I know people are already going to be clamoring for the next one. So
hey, chat W's, man. I love y'all, man. The love was overwhelming last time. I'm sure it'll be overwhelming now. I always appreciate it, and I love rocking with my boy Jake, man. We're gonna make something of this for real.
Hell yeah. So how do you want to end the show? Anything you want to plug? Anything people need to check out?
Yeah, I mean,
the floor's yours.
Look, man, you can go to Real Deal Fantasy on all social media platforms. I have a really funny clip up on my Twitter right now of Seth Rollins, WWE star,
awesome,
stomping me in the head, man. And like, Seth, you got one coming back for you, man. He's a real heel right now, so he's still in character even off camera, but great guy, man. But of course, FT and Fantasy, you can catch all my fire content over there for fantasy. It's fantasy season, draft season. Jake, do you have a draft this weekend or the following week? Like, what's going on with fantasy, my boy?
Man, I kept it kind of cheap this year. I'm going, so I had an IDP dynasty one that I've been doing for years and already, took care of everything there. And then I just did the Scott Fishbowl League. So I just did that draft.
Let's go.
And I got Devontae Adams in all my teams. So
hell yeah.
Here we go. Right?
I got Puka. and Jamar Chase in my Scott Fishbowl team.
There we go.
So I am happy with that.
I love that. Yeah, and I got Josiah Stewart on my IDP league. So we're cooking.
Let that boy cook.
We're cooking over here. So yeah, that's about it. I mean, the IDP, the IDP fantasy one, I traded my picks to get AJ Brown like 2 years ago. So I was still like the whole buyer's remorse thing. I love AJ Brown, but I'm sitting there like, man, in an IDP league, it would be nice to get Travis Hunter right now. It'd be pretty nice.
Oh man, you missed that window. Yeah, I see. But we don't know. We haven't seen the finished product in the year 1 for Travis Hunter. So
that is true.
Hold your regrets. Hold your regrets.
But I was able to acquire from my brother Devontae Adams for a 2nd-round pick. So I'll take it.
Take that every time on Sunday, my friend. Happy New Year.
Yes, absolutely. So guys, be sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Be sure to check out LaQuan's YouTube. I did link the YouTube channel in the description, so be sure to do that. Of course, hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed this. If you didn't, right? If you don't hit the thumbs up button, YouTube's just gonna assume that you watched for like an hour and you're like, this sucks. I hate watch the entire thing. So definitely be sure to hit that thumbs up button, also known as the like button. And be sure to leave a comment. Let us know. Do you want LaQuan back? Yes, no, maybe. I would assume yes, based on the last time. And
Come on,
if you
Ramley,
had some
let's go.
fun, let us know. But that's gonna do it. Appreciate you guys, and we'll see you guys soon.